All right, here we go. It is a couple days from camp 2025, and we're hanging out with Scott Satterfield in the defensive team room. We'll start there. Mm-hmm. How's life been in your new house? It's still got the new house smell to it?
It does. It's incredible. I mean, every day when you come in, you're excited to walk in the door. Again, I've said this many times. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with the design of this building, the flow. It doesn't matter where you're at in the building. If you walk out, you're going to be able to see one of our student athletes walking around, and we love that, the connection that we have with each other, and the fact that we always can be around with our guys. And I think that's huge. And I think our guys being able to be that close, and our staff with everybody, it makes it very special.
Something I saw this weekend that it's not really your deal, but Aaron and the training staff had a conference here, and Nico and the strength staff had a conference here. Is that something that, maybe an added benefit as you get to bring a lot of folks in and show this place off?
I think so. It's we certainly have a lot of space here, so you can a bunch of different meeting rooms. You can have breakout sessions. But I think our guys want to show the building off. I mean, I think you get the word out, man. I think for me, it's like recruiting. Whenever we bring recruits in, they're blown away by it. So, if you can get their coaches, the people they're working with, to get that word put out, like, man, you guys don't need to go anywhere else. Particularly guys that are within a couple hours from here, you can go play right there at Cincinnati and get some of the best facilities that you're going to have anywhere in the country.
Let's get to the outlook for this year. 3-9, 5-7. There's been progression. Does it feel like, all right, this is the year that we really need to hit the turbo button?
Well, yeah, I felt that way last year too.
Sure.
I feel that way every year. I think, certainly we have built up our team to this point, and I think everybody would agree on this, that, whenever you do have change in this era, they can go one of a couple ways. If you're able to keep a lot of guys and get some guys in there that can help you immediately, okay, that's great. But I also think, too, you can go the other way where you lost a lot of guys, you're in late on recruiting. So that was kind of what happened to us. And, the fact now that we are in this new building, it does feel like kind of a sense of renewed spirit around. We were able to keep a lot of our guys from last year that were, integral part of our team last year that really helped us win the games we did win. And then go out and find some other guys that can really come in and be some great additions to us. And I think we were able to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of excitement around our building for our team this year, and we're really amped up to get out there and start playing. I think, more so now maybe this year than maybe ever. I don't know. I feel like we, the whole off season, all the way to January, all the way through to right now, there's been so much work put into it with Coach Nico and his staff in the weight room, but also football-wise. I think we've just done way more football stuff than we've done in the past, with just some of the different rules that we're able to do now. And this team is eager and hungry to really go out and prove what they can do.
Culture is the buzzword. Everybody talks about it. If you go cut up a coach hiring press conference, they'll say culture 30 times. Mm-hmm. You seem to have gotten the culture right. Guys are staying, you're retaining who you want to retain. How does that flip from not just the culture, but making that culture be a part of adding more wins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your culture's huge. You got to have that, but you also have to have talent. If you have a team that can't really run, you're gonna have a hard time winning games. I go back to our first year. We track everything. We track all our speeds and all that. We were not a fast team at all. Going back to that, and then last year we got faster. This year we're faster. Obviously in recruiting, you can recruit speed. We've been able to do that. So what we feel like this year is we have great guys. They're pulling for each other and everything that we do in the competition, but we also have some really good talent. You have to have the talent. You got to have that culture too to get you over the top with some of these wins. But this year we feel like we do have some really good talent. We got a great mix of talent, young and old. I think we got some experienced players as well as some new influx, like some young guys. But and then we got that culture that's set in place. So that, it's just a great mix. And I feel like this is one of these teams that could do some really, really big things this year because of all that we just talked about.
When you look at this league, 2 years ago, West Virginia was picked last. They finished up near the top of the league last year. famously, Arizona State was picked last. They win the thing. There's a bunch of close games. Everybody's tightly bunched. Is there anything you do in an off season where you look and say, okay, to drill down on what do we got to do to be the better team in the fourth quarter, to get across the finish line where in a couple games maybe you didn't?
Yeah, for us this year is just being disciplined and holding each other accountable. And I think that's the biggest thing that started all the way back in January. So, and it's coming from really within our team and our players. Because to me, there's the ones that they're going to be playing. You got 11 guys on the field. They got to be able to hold each other accountable and count each other on the field. And I think this whole off season, this summer, holding each other accountable. If somebody screws up, which you're going to have some screw ups, man, there's going to be some consequences for that. And you know, we got our standard is so freaking high around here. Everybody trying to do the right thing. And it's that our point, our culture is that now we as coaches, we really a lot of times don't have to say much. Like the players handle it. And I think, man, when you get it from within like that, you got something special. I do think that will translate into being more disciplined on the field. You know, if you go back to last year and look at some of the things we did, you had some penalties here, some turnovers here, and you know that maybe that was the difference in the game, winning or losing. And hopefully we eliminate those things. And because I do think a lot of times more teams beat themselves, you know, and I think we can't do that. Like we can't beat ourselves when the margins are so tight. So just focusing on being a disciplined football team, holding each other accountable, hopefully will help us with our talent, with our culture to get over the hump.
Depth, I think, has also been another thing that when you come in, you had the roster turnover that you had, I think 40-something new guys in year one. Do you feel like you're at a position where when, you know, I compared it to like that first year when the other team came out on the field, it was like, oh boy, that looks a little different. Do you feel like now when you walk out onto the field on Saturday to warm up, you can look over at that other group and go, physically we're there?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, to that point, our first year we're in the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's the first year you're moving up. And so that gets lost in itself sometimes as well. But yeah, you feel like now, as you start looking at sizes, when you're looking at speed, we're more comparable in the Big 12 now than certainly the first year. We got better with that last year. We're even better this year with that. You know, as you know, you look at our tight end room, for example, like all our tight ends now are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 250, all of them. You know, our first year, you know, we've got some guys that are playing that was working in our recruiting department. We just pulled them in and said, y'all play tight end. We need some help. You know, so it's a big difference right now as far as that's just one position, I think. But across the board, it's that way. You know, receiver room, you know, we hadn't had great speed in the first couple of years. We got 6 or 7 guys that can really run this year. So yeah, we've upgraded size, speed at pretty much every position, I think. And again, I love the fact, too, of this team that we're bringing back a lot of experienced guys. I mean, you know, 6 linebackers just played at Big 12 level. I mean, that's huge, you know. I think the offensive line, some guys, very experienced guys, and we brought in some guys. So, yeah, there's a position we can break down to say we have more experience, but we also have the kind of talent that will be in the Big 12 talent. Like Big 12, all Big 12 players, you know, Joe Royer types, Corleones, Jake Goldays, you know, some of these guys that are big-time players that we got back here for another year. And
also, if a guy gets dinged up for a week or two, you don't feel like you're swimming up the river.
You do have another guy that maybe has played, got reps in the Big 12 that can get in there and get you some great reps, and there's not much drop-off. That's a huge key.
So before we get into the offense, we're gonna give you a pass this year. Normally we do this segment, then the offense, then the defense. We're gonna bring Tyson Veidt in to talk defense. Year 2 of Coach Veidt. I think at the end of last year, you really could see that defense starting to click, starting to get on the same page. How much different has this offseason been, and where's your comfort level now that you know you can look to him and say, hey, is it taken care of? He says yes, then you're good.
Yeah, I think, you know, last year, as you go through, you hire Coach Veidt, you get him in, he's doing a lot of coaching to coaches. Like, I think that happens anytime you bring a new coordinator in, where you got to get everybody in that staff room on the same page even before you go down to the kids. And so that happens, you know, all spring. You get into the summer. Obviously, you start fall camp. You're trying to get it all coached up. We did not do a lot of different defenses last year. We pretty much kept it very vanilla, played the same defense, tried to get good at it. You know, there was some points in the season we were really good. Houston game, shut them out. You know, that was a really good game for us. You know, other games we did not play as well. Kansas State, you know, so Texas Tech. So but I think we learned a lot with that. And now year 2, you're able to come in. We got a great foundation for our staff as well as those players we brought back. And now you're able to build on that. So we're able to do some different things. You're able to show the offense some different looks, bring some more pressures, not just sit back in our normal defense. And I think certainly we got to be good at that, our normal defense, but to be able to mix it up, bring some pressures to keep the coordinator that we're playing off guard as well as their quarterback. And year 2, man, I'm excited. It's the first time maybe in 5 years we had the same defensive coordinator. That's going to help us to be able to have those building blocks to continue to improve defensively.
All right, we'll be back to talk about the offense.